Hey guys, what's up? We are live over here on YouTube. You got me, Eddie Geeks Out, and Mr. Vince. How are you doing today, Mr.
I
Vince?
am doing fantastic, Ed. I'm so glad to see you back from your long trip.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, man, it's been a while, so thanks everybody for tuning in to episode three of the Geeked Out Minds podcast. Today we're gonna talk about a tantalizing subject. We're gonna dive into those comments you see on a lot of toy hunting channels. Like, is it really toy hunting when you're doing it at a toy store or at a toy show? Um, we're gonna get into that, but first we're gonna obviously talk about stuff we like talking about because what is our podcast about, Vince?
our podcast is about all the things mentally, physically, spiritually around collecting plastic toys. We're going to go deep with this one, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so too, man. It'll be modern stuff, old stuff, obviously, but kind of like with this one, I just really want to reach out to the community, start talking, and walking. But I mean, we're sitting down now. So, anyways, what's new? What have you been up to? Did you pick up anything lately?
Yeah. So went to a local show here in the Netherlands, the Verzamel Jaarbeurs in Utrecht, which is a sort of open everything flea market, vintage furniture, cars, records, everything. So it's always a bit of hit and miss. This time it kind of was a miss. I can go into detail if you want. Uh,
Yeah. Or people can watch the video.
Ooh, that's true. Head on over to YouTube, like, share, and
That's
subscribe,
true.
and become a member. We have the members. No, listen, I'll be fair. Like the Verzamel Jaarbeurs in Utrecht has been really good to me in past years, where I've found great stuff, and because it's not a fully vintage toy show, you still have those little surprises of somebody selling something that they don't know what it is, and therefore you can get a slightly better deal. I do love a deal, so it's been good to me the last couple of years. This year it was a dud, but that's toy hunting, baby. Sometimes you spend an entire morning at an event and you can't really find anything that you need. But I cheated and went to a toy store to a toy store after to still get my fix.
Okay. Yeah. No. Definitely. I mean, and obviously, like the name you call like Versamelsjaarbeurs, it means
Yeah,
collector year fair.
yeah,
But it's about all things collectible, so you can find antiques there. I'm guessing bottle caps, trading cards,
anything. There was a
pop culture. So it's not like a dedicated vintage toy show by
Not at
any
all. No,
means.
it's
No.
everything, and it's huge. It's these huge halls. It's at the what they call the Jaarbeurs, which is like the big convention event hall in Utrecht, one of our major cities. And it used to be great because you would get, I don't know, a dealer with a bunch of vintage lamps, and then you would pull out a vintage Megatron in between the lamps. It would be that kind of show. I would buy completed Panini sticker albums of like GI Joe and Transformers and stuff like that over there. So it always delivered the goods if you were willing to truly hunt, which is a nice connection to this episode because you have to go through these endless halls. Um, yeah, but this year I just couldn't find that thing, and I struggled. Like, should I make a video about it? Is it interesting to watch somebody score nothing? But I think I found a tweak to make it an interesting episode, regardless. And I want to be truthful. This is hunting too. Sometimes you catch nothing. I mean,
I,
you always catch
I
something.
do feel like we're gonna touch on this object a little later, but that is one of those things where okay, it's all collectible stuff,
Mhm.
but to me, it's a little closer to actual hunting because where are you gonna find a deal to the collectible guy that's maybe just into cars and bringing along something he picked up in a collection, and you get to scoop it up for like a pretty good deal. Hopefully, some people found some stuff like that over there for great deals, and those are the ones that are taking home like the hunter crown for that day, I think. But
Yeah.
obviously, it also depends where you're at in your collector journey. If you've already had all the Transformers like Vince, you're not going to be, you know, too fussed about finding a bumblebee somewhere or something like that, I
That's
guess.
true. That's true. Like as your toy snobometer grows, you have to hunt a little bit more deeper. I think I would have been very pleased if this was 5 years ago. It's just that I got
Okay.
spoiled with last year. Last year was really good, so I expected more this
Yeah.
year. And I was jealous because I was looking while I was in the train to go to the Verzameljaarbeurs in Utrecht. I was watching your content of your America trip,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I'm very curious. How do you deal with that much choice, that much to look at, that much to dig through and hunt for? You can't even do all of the Ohio toy show in one day, right? It's too much, right, for one day.
Uh, I mean, to do it properly, probably, yeah. Luckily, we had 2 days because we had gotten the real the VIP packages, so we paid up for them,
Mm,
just like you would do for Chicago. So the entrance isn't like $5, but it's 50. But it allows you a lot more time to walk around and stuff. Um, so where I went to was the Great Ohio Toy Show, which to me is one of the two biggest toy conventions I've been to. Stuff like the NEC and Sandown in UK gets pretty
yeah.
close, but I do think there's a lot more different vendors over at the Great Ohio Toy Show, and it's just full on vintage toys. Honestly, there's like no pops. It's truly one of the biggest vintage toy collectibles things. Toys from the 40s, 50s even are there. Some
Mm,
some newer stuff because stuff in the 2000s is now also like 20 years old. So I mean they're reaching that age,
yeah.
obviously. But how do I deal with it? Like after a while of going back and forth, uh, once a year or a couple times a year to the US, you start to you know know a couple of vendors,
Mm,
so you already know, oh, I'm gonna hit that guy up, and then like when there's new people, you kind of like scout their store a little bit. And
yeah.
obviously, like for anybody that was there a couple days earlier, there was also the hotel sales. So a couple of the vendors already set up their entire offering or most of their offering inside a hotel room, which for 2 days you could just get in for free and already pre-scoop out whatever they wanted to be selling before the toy show. Yeah, there was like 4 days of getting to scope out what was there, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think like if I would have just jumped in on one day, it surely would have been a lot more overwhelming.
Yeah.
But then again,
Do
you're
you?
also shooting content while you're doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially on your level, you must be constantly multitasking. That's why I'm so in awe of you dealing with that tidal wave of plastic hitting you all the time, and you having to not just look for what you want to buy, but also look from like a content perspective, like what's a good story to tell with that piece, or what would make a good story. And that's, I mean, I'm jealous of your Ohio trip, but I'm also kind of like, geez, I would be drooling on the floor, shaking in like overstimulant mode.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it all like at least maybe to me, it all just comes down to that one vendor that has that one thing you want. And if it
Yeah.
was at the Arbors, I would have probably would have been just as glad as if it was over there,
Okay.
right?
Well, then next time
Um,
you give me your plane ticket, and you
yeah,
go to Utrecht, I'll go to Ohio.
it's
Deal.
managing your own expectations as well a little bit, I think. But we'll get to that a little later.
Yeah.
Um, maybe let's check out who's tuning in on the live stream here, because obviously, if you're listening to this a little later on, podcasts, wherever you get those, you can also tune in live. Just follow us on Instagram. We'll drop the links and everything so you know what time we're doing this. But here we got another Ed, or Ed David. First time catching the stream. Thanks so much for tuning in. Then Miyamoto, he's going in.
Yeah.
Nostalgia was forgotten for competition collecting, which I definitely can agree with in a kind of way. Like it seems like everybody's chasing the same grails, and like people are offering them, but that's maybe a whole different thing, a different topic. Could be a good topic. Thanks for dropping it in there. Toymanoids, what's up? We missed each other because you were over at Toylanta and I was over at the Great Ohio Show. I was like, I hope I was gonna bump into you. Who else do we have here? How many turtle figures are you missing? Probably a ton because there's like 700 of them.
Do you keep a spreadsheet, Ed? Like how?
No, I just do it by feeling, and then once I just inevitably not find any new ones anymore, I'll
Has
do
that
something.
has that led to accidental doubles yet, where you're like super excited to find one and you put it in on your shelf and you find out you already had it?
Not for the ones I'm excited about.
Okay, yeah.
So it sometimes happens like, oh, I already had this.
Mm.
Okay, but it's all good. Spectrum Flipper, David, how are you doing, buddy? David Apuzzo, he's in the house. Sean, keep it mint in mind is even in the chat. How are you doing
Hey,
this? Double duty.
liking, sharing, and subscribing my own stuff.
Toy hunting truth is important to show for sure. Sometimes the items just aren't there. I guess that's referring to your ordeal with like, should I put it up or not? So thanks
Yeah,
for that,
yeah. I think
Woymanoids.
Toymanoids also responded to my video with a similar comment, and it's, to be honest, like, thanks, dude. It's like very encouraging to get those comments too, because I make a big deal about um, being truthful and not adjusting my content too much to score or get more views or anything. I want to make the content that I would want to watch and talk about the subjects that I would want to hear about. But still, I'm very aware that a video where there's not like a big sparkly purchase moment could get very dull. So I'm glad it did kind of resonate. I'll promise to buy stuff next time.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. I think. Like, I guess like you're bringing along a camera. You're there to make a representation of the way you experienced it. If it's not there, but you get to show around what was there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's good to some other people. I've had so many videos pop up where people reached out to vendors after that, and they actually made a sale thanks to it. So I mean, we're all helping out each other within the community, you know. But yeah, here we go, Jonathan. Are you guys hyped for Spider-Man Brand New Day? I do think like the newer Spider-Man stuff, or like from the newer Marvel movies, the Spider-Man stuff is some of the better that has come out. So I don't know if I'm gonna watch it in cinemas, but I did venture out to another movie with my kids, and that is actually the Super Mario Galaxy movie. So the second one
Oh, nice.
they've done so far, which I mean, I liked it. It was definitely made a little bit more for kids. Like right around the middle, I was like, so are we going to get a little bit deeper? But obviously for kids, it would have been maybe a little bit, uh, too much for the story.
Yeah.
But other than that, there was a lot of like Easter eggs that didn't really break up the scenes or anything. It was just fun for somebody like me that grew up playing all those games from like the NES days to the SNES. Obviously, you got Yoshi this time in there,
Yeah.
and the little Koopa Juniors or the Bowser Juniors. So that was a fun one. And then you actually pointed out something else that was happening. Is it? I don't know if it works like this.
Let's see if the link works. Yeah, so the final ish, I think it's the final trailer for the Master of Universe movie hit. We of course covered it in the first episode of Geeked Out Minds when we were blessed with the Master of Universe trailer dropping like the day before our first episode. And I just want to hit one thing that really stood out to me, because obviously it's looking good. I think the unanimously people are carefully excited for this one. I love the fact that they did this sort of story trick where Adam remembers all these other characters, but they don't remember him. because
Oh.
there's a scene in this trailer where he's surrounded by the usual characters. Fisto is there, Mechanic, all these typical Motu characters, and he says some line like, "You might not remember me, but I remember all of you." And there's like
Ooh.
this sort of layered nostalgia storytelling thing going on about like, I remember all of you, like you were my, from my childhood, etc. And I think that was very, very smart for them to do that, to play it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I love Trapjaw in this. Like the way he looks is pretty badass compared
it's
to like.
pretty good, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you've seen all the toys, but besides like a highly detailed sort of more adult collector focused line, they're also doing sort of kids toys of the movie, which are
Yeah.
slightly chunkier and less detailed. And
Okay.
they're doing a trap jaw of that for that line, and it looks amazing. And I think they're doing a lot of things right. I'm not saying it's perfect. Like, before people in the comment section start pointing out, like, I don't know, the crossbones on Skeletor's chest missing and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm just saying they could do a whole lot worse with this. And
I guess
yeah,
like hopefully it connects with some younger kids in the same way like the Avengers movie did. I've definitely seen kids play with like the Avenger toys that came out.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it kind of like gives me those vibes, like we said in the first episode. And then one thing you pointed out as well was there being a new series in development.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. So they announced recently that it's nothing more than an announcement, by the way. There's no trailer, there's no images yet, so don't get too excited.
Yeah.
But Amazon is developing a new Robocop TV show, and they're doing so with a team includes James Wan, who people might know from The Conjuring and other horror movies. So very visceral, very very graphic horror movies, and a guy called Peter Ocko, not to be confused with Peter Orko, who did The Office, which to me, like, the satire of RoboCop is very important. The getting the sort of the office warfare 80s greed vibe of RoboCop right. If the guy who's written for shows like The Office is going to work together with Peter Wan, who does a lot of like graphic horror, I think we have the gore. I think we have the political satire. This might just work.
Okay.
This might work.
Yeah.
Oh, but I see that uh,
Oh.
Dark Higher Ophunt, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right, is saying, unfortunately, Amazon shows have been mostly subpar. Hmm.
I do feel like if there is a chance for the planets to align and get us a at 209 spin-off, we should just all give it a little shot, right? Shouldn't judge it before we at least see a trailer or anything.
You think there's a complexer storyline there to tell? Why?
I think so too. I think we
10
just need to focus on the at 209 here.
Why is he so focused on getting people to comply? What happened in your childhood?
I mean, he's got a catchphrase and everything. You've got, what is it, 10 seconds, 5 seconds to comply?
I don't remember, 10 or 20, but yeah, the thing is, like, I don't know about you, Ed, but like in my top 10 of movies of all time, I think RoboCop is sharing a first place with Back to the Future, and in the sense that it's almost the perfect movie. And the thing that I love most about RoboCop is the sort of political satire of the 80s, and it was directed by a Dutchman, Paul
Yeah.
Verhoeven.
Yeah.
And so it's full of sort of a European's view of 80s America. And I love that it's layered yet stupid. it's a movie about a robot cop, right? I think that's great. So it's one of my all-time favorites, and they've been, we've had spin-off series, we had cartoons, we had a recent new movie, and they all sort of missed the mark a little bit. So I'm hoping that this one gets all those delicate
Yeah.
vibes
I
right.
remember seeing the reboot or like the new movie, and I don't remember what happens in it. and I never watched it again or never wanted to.
It
So
was extremely forgettable. The only thing that I really
yeah.
liked is that they had Samuel L. Jackson playing like a sort of extreme newscaster character. But yeah,
Okay.
no, they didn't get it right.
All
And
right.
here's the thing with these things: if it doesn't work, that's fine too. The perfect RoboCop movie already exists.
That's
It's
true.
in my media shelf
Yeah. Nothing
here.
beats the Verhoeven original.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's true.
Totally agree. I
Oh
was going to quote something from that movie, but it has a lot of swears, and I don't know if we are allowed to swear on.
no, we're not doing that.
All right, sweet.
Uh, what's that? How do I remove this? There we go. Oh, Vincent.
Mm.
We can get a new question in for you.
Yeah. So Mario, my friend in the States, in Florida, is asking, will you be happy with the Samurai Pizza Cats movie, something in the same style as the Super Mario movies? I think there's a lot of comedy and a lot to do. It could be very fun, but I'm extremely biased because I love the dynamic of the bad guys in Samurai Pizza Cats with Seymour Cheese and Geriatric. I think there's a lot of comedy to tell. I just don't. I don't know. I'm relatively sure that there's not enough people that remember the Samurai Pizza Cats well enough to get the budget to do it. But let's say planets aligned magically. Here's 100 million. Go make an
Do,
animated Cats movie.
does there need to be enough people to remember it for a good idea to be developed in the right way and gather a new audience?
That's a really good question, Ed, because they kind of did that with Guardians of the Galaxy,
I
right?
think so too. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes it's yeah. Good point. Maybe
I mean, they they had Roger Corman try Fantastic Four and Captain America first.
that's true.
That didn't really work out.
There's no guarantees, baby. In like if you see the movies that hit, the movies that flop, it always sort of warms my heart a little bit that we can run all the marketing models and all the prediction models and AIs and spreadsheets and focus group testing, and still something can flop, and then the other thing becomes a hit.
Yeah, yeah. They're asking if it's my bedtime. It's like 9:15 here, in Belgium. I don't know what time it is in Holland, but I'm just kidding.
I saw somebody in the comment section saying like you're my favorite Scandinavian buddies.
Yeah,
We're not
it's all
Scandinavian.
good. It's all good. We're close. It's close.
That's true. It's Europe is all tiny countries, really close by. So.
Here's Wayne with another comment. Are we a decade away from Xennial's Cure and Finish collections value drops as we move into retirement and Gen Y focus on TMNT and later toy lines? Will they care as much about 82, 85 toy lines? In a way, I do think like 80s and 90s are kind of like connected. I know I definitely have a large connection with trying to get 80s lines and even earlier lines. I guess like there's just a lot of different types of collectors out there, and if you like Universal Monsters or if you like Superman, take Superman for instance. Like one of those grails in there is getting that wooden one they made in the 30s or in the 20s.
Yeah.
I think Ideal made that or something. Um,
I think it's a solid question to ask though, because I was thinking
yeah,
about this.
yeah. I
With
do think like the way it's hyped now, and there's like a lot of people into it. Um, it's definitely got another 10 to 15 years. Like if you look at Motu, that's 10 years before TMNT
yeah,
or GI Joe, the Real American Hero. It's still going strong. There's still new stuff being developed around it. It just like depends on what the collector community is willing to do for it. And there's still a lot of just collectability or the need to collect things out there. Definitely if you're seeing like the way trading cards are booming right now for Pokemon.
yeah.
It's in a way, it's a little bit of the same thing.
But
And if you can get hooked on trading cards, you can get hooked on toys. If you
that's true. That's true.
and
Like
I don't think like vintage toys is uh, the upper price range collecting,
no,
like sports memorabilia or cars or guitars, something like that.
yeah,
It is pricey, obviously, but it's not one of those top tier things where it's just crazy, like how much people are spending on certain collections,
yeah.
obviously. What did you want to interject?
Well, sorry, yeah. I spent a lot of time thinking about this because, like, on one hand, I'm worried, right, that we are inflating this balloon together, all of us, not just Ed and me, but all of us. And then at a certain point, let's say, let's hope 30, 40 years from now, we all start dying and retiring or quitting the, and then these collections are going to flood the market. So they're going to be there's going to be more vintage on offer, but not necessarily more people that collect those 80s and 90s toys. Yes, there will be younger people that will collect stuff from before their time, but not a lot. Most people collect from their own youth or their own period in time. Then again, that's counteracted by the amount of stuff that is simply disintegrating, like Boglins or certain figures that is, don't hold up over time. So there's going to be less of them. So you have the longevity of the materials, then you
Yeah.
have the collectors. Right now, the group is growing, but at some point it's going to shrink. Then you have us, because of the internet, everything being connected, every all the things becoming more findable, and therefore also there will be a more average price. Instead of everybody making up their own prices, people will have more reference to make their prices. So if prices go up, they all go up. And all these factors together, I think, is going to mean that it's going to get a little bit more expensive as years go on. And at some point, it is going to take a step back. And for a few toy brands, I think that's already happening, because I remember in peak COVID times, a Skeletor, just the original Motu Skeletor, being like 90.
Yeah.
And I think now it's like back to 30 or something like that, reasonable.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Maybe with the new Motu movie,
who knows?
it
Maybe
might
what will
spark another,
another
another part of the
revival.
community
Yeah.
that was sleeping on it.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of fact. I would love to do like a long episode about specifically that subject. What's the future of all these collections? Because, like,
Yeah.
yes, you could say, okay, we're going to put all this stuff in a museum, but
Uh-huh.
how many museums do you need, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of collections that are museum worthy, definitely out
Yeah.
there. Um, yeah. The FunCon Fett, he's catching this one live from Australia at 20 to 5 in the morning. Thanks for
Oh,
tuning in, buddy.
that's
And we
late.
have royalty, toy royalty in the chat.
Hey,
We
it's
got Mr.
Leo.
Leo from Toy Heaven. Thanks for tuning in, buddy.
Wow.
I would say, like, if you ask me, in a way, I think certain toys just match an expectation that a collector has. So something like a Rodan or a Shogun Godzilla. Like,
Yeah.
even though it's from the 70s, a lot of collectors will still want it just because the way it looks, or the way it just looks so cool. There's just like some iconic toys out there, some things that even in a way, it's like the example I'm gonna give is kind of weird, but in a way, it's how you would get like interested in a Coca-Cola canister that has Transformers on it. There's a Coca-Cola public for it, but there's also a Transformers public for it. So I think like some toys just have a lot more reach in like different type of collectors. They might
Sure.
not just be a vintage toy collector per se, but it's just like the aesthetic of what it is or what it represents or what age it came out of,
Yeah.
So I
So
think that's one
by
of the
that
ways.
measure, it should mean that like Motu stuff will stay valuable, But like the other 5.5 knockoffs, will those stay as popular as they are right now, you think?
I think like something like a debt lore that nobody had, like the bootleg.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that everybody, uh, like nobody had it, but everybody is thinking like that is actually a cool looking toy. I
Mm.
would want that,
Yeah, it's
So
objectively
yeah, like a
appreciated.
Godzilla collector would want it, but somebody that's maybe just collecting 70s interior stuff. So they're looking for those chairs. They're looking to really dress up their house as if you were walking into the 70s, and you want a Shogun Warrior like that because it was in the movies. It was,
Yeah,
part of the pop culture. Um,
yeah.
I think in a way that might be something like that. Um, but maybe let's get into like the actual topic we wanted to talk about. I've noticed it's on my channel too. Obviously, like we call going to a toy store and filming there a toy hunt. We call it when we go to a toy show. Obviously, toy hunting, toy hunt, vintage toy hunting, uh, or doing toy hunter-esque stuff. It's kind of like its own genre within YouTube.
Yeah,
But do we
definitely.
get to call it that if we're not going to a flea market or like something out in the wild where you actually have to source about it, where you have to
Mm,
um, you know put effort into it?
yeah,
Going to garage sales, asking, hey, maybe your kids grew up in the 80s, maybe your kids grew up in the 90s.
yeah.
Oh, I see you have some of these Team NT VHSs. Is there maybe some toys you
Uh-huh.
guys had with that? Did you have any video games back in the day? You're doing sourcing. If you go to a toy show and there's 80 vintage toy
Yeah,
vendors, what is there for you to like really be, be looking for?
exactly.
So that is, I guess, the way people might look at it in a way, and think like, oh, well, this is just collecting on easy mode. I think that's something you said, Vince.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I think that's the question, right? Aren't we a little spoiled, right? I remember the days where seeing any sort of 80 or 90s vintage toy in let's say a comic book store, the comic book stores would sometimes have like one glass case with a couple of vintage items right next to their new McFarlane Spawn toys or something like that, and me being like hyper excited for just like an incomplete transformer missing all his bits and stuff. It would feel like these massive discoveries, and now we don't know. Now we know long. Sorry, tripping over my English tonight. Um, it sort of links back to what we're talking about when this episode began about the Verzamel Jaarbeurs in Utrecht, that big flea market. It is really exciting to find something unexpected in an unexpected place, or to really have to dig for it and really have to walk and hunt for it. And that adds to the value of the find. But now we're kind of spoiled. We have these specific vintage toy events, not just one or two, but like, I don't know, 12 a year. Then
Too
there,
many to go to all of them,
I know, right?
honestly.
And you try.
Like
you
even like obviously like 15 years ago, I wouldn't go uh to the UK or like down
Yeah,
to Spain for something, but basically you had facts.
yeah,
And
yeah,
there was
exactly.
one retro game convention in Holland, and there was one in Belgium. So there was
Yeah,
like three options where or you knew, because we didn't have shops. Like you had Space Oddity, but
yeah.
that was like the single shop there
For
was
for
in all of
ages,
Holland.
Space Oddity was unique and alone.
Mhm.
And like, if they had five Transformers, those were the five vintage Transformers that were available in the country at that moment. I'm exaggerating, but you get my point.
Yeah, yeah.
And I used to go to Facts in Belgium all the time as well. And that was, of course, an everything convention. It was comic
Mhm.
books and
Yeah, and
cosplay.
there was maybe three or four vendors. Like I remember
Yeah,
one year there was just like one guy that had vintage with him.
yeah.
And
And
and and it was always like a guess, like, but if you couldn't make it that weekend, you were out of your easy mode hunting.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like and a part of me yearns for that time because I like the discovery of it. You would also have to do a lot of homework. You would find something, you have to figure out what it was and everything. And now with the abundance of toy hunting content, not just by ourselves here, like we're part of the problem in that sense, but also by people like Toy Overdose, who's in the comments. Hi, bud. But like all these other toy YouTubers, all these shows, it's really fanning the flame, and there's a lot of knowledge sharing going on. But is it still hunting if you walk into a toy show and they have two of those what are they called again? The red skulls, the flying one, the cyber
The
skull.
Robo Skull,
So,
Action
yeah,
Force
let's
Robo
say there's
Skull.
more than one Robo Skull at the toy show. Can you then still call it a grail if there's two of them at a single show? You know, I think in a way we are spoiled in that sense. Is it still hunting? I think what happens to a lot of collectors is their tastes get more specific. So from collecting 80s and 90s toys as a whole, they go into one specific line or one specific year of a line. In my case, I've dove into the Euro early 90s Transformers, which is very specific. Also to give yourself a little bit more of a challenge, I guess.
Yeah, 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 no, definitely. I think like there's definitely still some hunting about it, and it's just that it's been created as a genre. Like you call your video that because people know what to expect, in a way. And if it's like a find in the wild, oh, it's more at a flea market, or it's
Yeah.
and once again, you knocked out that term of holy grail. Like, is also a lot of disagreement on what it actually is. Because
Yeah.
still, I mean, like there's nothing so cool than like Femme from the Block says, like getting a couple of My Little Ponies at a thrift store for $5, and she sold them for 60. She probably already had them in her collection,
Yeah.
but she was able to get something that she valued at 60, or multiple people in the community valued at 60. So that's something she found. It was a thrill of the hunt thing. I definitely feel the thrill of the hunt when I'm out at a toy store looking
Yeah.
for something, when I'm out at a toy show as well, because the other thing is when you go to a toy show, it's not just you going on easy mode, it's 600 other people looking for the same thing. There's
Yeah.
competition. So
Yeah.
that's another factor. And then what you said as well is your collector journey. Where are you at? What are you, looking for? Are you happy to find anything? Because 10, 15 years ago, apart from those couple conventions we had a year and that I was able to go to, for me, it would be like going to the weekly flea market and hitting it
Yeah.
every weekend, and then doing two more. I didn't have kids back then, so I would do 3 or 4 flea markets a week, bumping into Renzo. And after a couple months, we became friends because we were like, well, you're looking for this stuff, I'm looking for that. We might as well just split up and like join forces. In
Is
the
that the
same way,
origin
like,
story?
sorry?
Is that the origin story? Is that the Renzo origin story?
Yeah, it is like we got the, so yeah, we're pretty much buying the same thing. Like, what do you have? What do I have? You want to trade some stuff? You want to, we
Nice.
just started like walking together and like trying to
Yeah.
find cool deals. And obviously back then, 10, 15 years ago, you still had that window of like, I do believe in between 2005 and 2015 was that 10-year window that kids from the 90s
Yeah.
took their stuff to the thrift store. They took it over to a flea market to sell stuff they didn't have an interest in because they were going to university or something. They wanted the money for something like that.
Yeah.
There was a flea market over here in my town every once a month, and you could just pinpoint, oh, these guys are going to the university this year.
Yeah.
What do you have? Oh, a Game Boy Advance with a couple games, $20 for the lot. Okay, all right, awesome. But that stuff just doesn't happen because now they're standing there with a Wii or a Wii U, or And it's like, it's not retro enough for me, you know?
And let's be honest, technology is also a big part of it. Like Google
It's
Lens
true.
did.
Like you can look up anything, and even back in the day, I feel like eBay hunting was an actual thing, scoping out a deal like that.
Yeah,
Now eBay has just so much fees and like it's people running a business on there,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah,
They're making a living there, and before it was kind of like just your online flea market. I don't want to set up all day. I just want this thing out of my house,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like a lot has changed. It's the access we have to all this stuff through these events, through the stores. It's the timing of it. You're right. There was this beautiful phase where you would find endless Super NESs and Mega Drives and Ninja Turtles at the flea market because everybody of that age was moving on. Um, yeah, it's a couple of factors: technology, timing, community, abundance, hype. Let's be honest. Like now that sort of the normals are aware of things like Pokemon cards and stuff like that, they might look up the stuff they have before throwing it onto the flea market, right? They
But
might
but I,
look
I
up.
do think like part of that is hype and people learning about it. If you bring that stuff, it will sell.
Yeah,
And then there's obviously, different kind of vendors, people that are doing it for their living, or partial resellers that try to score an extra buck.
yeah,
Some people shoot for the moon, and our people are just like, oh, when I clean out a house and I find old toys, I'll set them up, but I'm gonna set them up at $5 a piece,
yeah,
and then whatever happens to be left after a month, I will sell in bulk,
yeah,
because I know like the ones I can at least get that money out of, I will have that, which is a good way to do it. Other people might do all the research for you and already look it up and piece it together with the accessories that are in the bottom of the bin. They are putting work into it. So I think like over here, is any hunt, speaking purely from a mint and box guarded collector, the research required from anywhere, either the online or live variants. Not getting that completely what you're trying to say, but uh, I mean, like there's research involved in as much as higher the stakes get, you need to do more research. If it's like
definitely.
going for a lot more money, you kind of want to know what are the red flags on buying something like this. Am I buying a bootleg? Am I buying something that isn't working anymore? What impacts the value of a certain item you're after? Um, so yeah, there is research required in hunting to just identify what you need. But in a way, I went so many years going to toy shows and stuff, just being like excited about learning about new things, and just kind of like feeling like, do I want to spend 20 bucks on this thing I don't know anything about? Sure, it looks cool enough. Why not? Like
Yeah.
you can decide for yourself. I think I don't feel like anything you buy needs to be put under a community microscope and being like, oh, you could have gotten that for cheaper. It's your own
Yeah,
collecting journey, you know?
exactly. It's not about the monetary value, but like a little bit of research is good if you're buying something that, for instance, might have a bunch of reproduction parts. I think we've all been there where we bought something and we found out too late. But when it comes to something catching your eye, do you then have to, like you say, throw it under the community microscope of like, oh, that's €1 overpriced? Nah. If you like it, buy it. And part of the fun is also like, hey, if you bought something really obscure and then you go down the rabbit hole of what actually is this thing. And like I bought a Silverhawks Monstar without
Yeah.
knowing what it was because I just
Oh.
liked the design so much. I'm like, okay, this might be some silly Power Rangers bad guy. I don't know. And then I found out what Silverhawks, and I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of dope.
It does have that kind of like flip head action to it as well.
Yeah, 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 exactly. So that
Yeah.
made me think it
Is
was
this
that.
Bandai?
Yeah.
uh,
Excuse me.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, like we're obviously hit by technological technological advancements and stuff like that. People knowing the value, people being able to research stuff, and I guess it's like 30, 40 years ago when people were hunting around for baseball cards.
Yeah.
They were probably met with, oh, now there's collectible stores that are just coming out and buying it in. It's always adapting, I guess, and just technology is like the next thing that's adapting to it. But in a way, what I feel is doing the whole thing is I think you can still go out and put a lot of effort into trying to find something extra special or extra cheap. And in a way, I kind of feel like if you end up over at like an elderly couple's garage sale and they pull out like a box where like, oh, this is like $4,000 worth of vintage toys, and they're saying like, I'll take $20 for it. Like, don't go and like talk them down to 10.
Take the 20. Yeah.
Like I feel like
and make their day, Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah.
But that used to be part of the hunt. But it's just that stuff is now valued so much higher.
Yeah.
And people are paying it. So
yeah,
it's not just a price that's trying to be set. But yeah, hopefully you all will go out this summer to like a flea market or a garage sale and find something that you're like, oh, I was always interested in this and they're asking $1 for it. Let's just pick it up.
Hey, Ed, you of course focus your hunting on physical hunting, like at the toy shows, at the toy stores. You don't do a lot of online, do you?
I try not to. I've been scrolling through Vinted the last couple days.
Yeah.
There's like some crazy stuff being offered on there, but obviously like the prices, they're high too on like certain things that catch my interest, which just confirms the thing where I'm at. Like I already have a whole bunch of stuff. Do I want to find another He-Man for $2 that I already have, or am I going to buy it for $2 and try to flip it for $15 to buy something I want, or to add that added value into like a pot that I'm using to save up for getting a Titus after 400 transactions of that. No, I'm not doing that, but somebody else could be doing it. But no, I don't really hunt online. Why do you ask?
Because I do.
Okay. Oh, and you found something.
I mean, like I was gonna open this before the pod started, but like I thought I might as well open it live on the pod, because we were talking about like, okay, the thrill of the hunt, etc., etc. Then where you are in your collector journey, do you get really specific? So I found something super specific that this is also a really good example of something that I am super excited by, and a lot of people couldn't give a crap about this.
Okay, well, I kind of want to see. And thanks, Ray Flynn, for tuning in, buddy.
So let me.
You got a scalpel for that? What is that thing?
It's a surgical knife.
Really?
Yeah. It's my brother is he makes model kits, and like they're really.
I thought you were gonna say he's a surgeon.
Yo, he's a serial killer. That's not kidding. He's no, he's a model, and he uses these surgical knives because they're the best, and and they're great because they don't really. If you want to like take a plastic blister off a toy card,
okay,
you can really precisely cut off the blister,
slice it off.
Yeah, and the cardboard stays completely intact. So I tend to do that with like. Let me give you an example real quick. Oh, stalling for time. Ugh. So here, for instance, this Computer Warriors card, you can get the blister off really cleanly.
Okay.
With a knife that sharp. Anyway, box. Let's see.
Wait. What sparked your interest? Why did you pull the trigger on this?
Ooh, well, it's fitting in my sort of niche that I'm diving into, and this is actually one of the first time I made a purchase where I very much have the video in mind, as in like I want this to be able to show it or talk about it in the video. So I guess it's the next step in my journey as a toy YouTuber, I guess.
Okay.
So here we go. Oh, I love it. Air pockets and bubble wrap. Very good, very good. All right.
Oh.
This is a 1992 European exclusive Constructicon, and there's a whole story to it. So if you indulge me for 3.5 minutes, I'll tell you the story. So these are obviously the Constructicons from Transformers G1, but they were re-released in 1992 in Europe in a very disrespectful manner, because they didn't get their own card. Like, as you can see, it's all of them on the card. It doesn't say which one. It just says Constructicons. It doesn't say which that it's Scrapper.
So if you get all of those, you can make a Devastator.
You can't. These are the Constructicons. They don't have their combining bits. So you can get a full set of the Constructicons, but they don't combine, which is still a baffling move by Hasbro Europe in 92. And like, they even, like, all the instructions for all of them are on the back of the same card. So each figure got the same card. And these are, if you would be collecting these, let's say 20 years ago, these would be, valueless. You would not pay more than like a tenner for these. But of course, with everything that's rare getting more attractive, even these things get super valuable, and finding them on card is rare because, again, they were only released in Europe and they weren't super loved. But the fun part is, I like to unbox these things, keep it in mind, lol, open it up. The seller threw in a Lucy.
No, sweet. Wow.
So I've got a mint Lucy of the same guy. There he is. Good old Scrapper, but in yellow, with his rifle and his roof, and a carded one to display with it. So yeah, happy.
That's cool. Yeah.
So yeah, this is one of those things that, yes, if I would have found this at a toy show or
these are the ones that are yellow and purple.
Yeah. So you have,
but they also did a Devastator with those colors where he does actually match up. Yeah, and then there's a Devastator that has orange and purple as well in G1.52, or am I mistaken about this?
No, you're absolutely right. In America, they did a G2 Devastator that was yellow and an orange one, kind of on the market at the same time, so you could make a mixed matched one if you wanted. But this one, the purple, yellow, and gray version without the combining bits, and I think it's also slightly retooled, so even if you would try to combine it, it wouldn't work. That is the rare European one from 92, in that weird gap year where Hasbro America just let Hasbro Europe do whatever with Transformers, and they just did weird shit.
I mean, like, it doesn't like really have all the tooling. It doesn't really connect. You're not selling it. But for a collector, you are selling it because it's like, oh, this is so wrong, I gotta have it, right?
Exactly. This is the part of my collector journey. Like, obviously, this is the inferior Devastator, but for my video, I can't wait to make that thumbnail that says Constructicant.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that.
So yeah. A lot of new comments. Like, the comment section is very active. Like, I hope that the people that are listening to this after, by the way, I just made all the podcasting mistakes about, showing something on camera and not describing it verbally for the people that listen to this instead of viewing it live. But Just to recap, I was showing a Transformer on card from the European 92 line and a loose edition of the same figure. But let's hit some of the comments.
Yeah, so Alias is going to the Chicago Toy Show for the first time. He's going to go to the room trading, the dealer setup. What is the best way to go about the dealer setup day, in your opinion? Get there early, because people set up in the traffic lane to get in early in the morning. And some people aren't even setting up at the show sometimes.
Does that mean that they basically park their car in front of the Chicago Toy Show but never actually go in as a dealer?
I think they go in to buy stuff, but they're also selling, because like it sells out the vendor tables, so not everybody can get in, unfortunately. That is one of those things about it. Best way to go about the dealer setup day, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know what type of collector you are, but like, don't expect it to be like all set up already. Like, not everybody sets up. People set up their booth, and some of them just leave. So, like, whenever it looks like they're still setting up and there's already a lot out there, go and check it out if there's anything in there you want. It's obviously the day before the show, so negotiating is a little bit more difficult unless you grab a ton of stuff. Obviously, they came over there, and lots of people traveled a lot of way to be there to get rid of that stuff. But just enjoy yourself, and scope out some stuff that you definitely want to hit up the next day when the event is actually going on for the main public. So yeah. I think that's it. I won't be attending the Chicago Toy Show because I was over at Ohio, but it is definitely one of my favorite toy shows out there. Talking about toy shows, we have a couple coming up. I'll actually be... Is that already this weekend? I guess it is. Okay. Yeah, so in Effligem, there is the Card Glitch Mania. So it's Glitch Mania combining forces with a couple of my other friends. They're doing this show. There's going to be quite a few vintage toy vendors there. So if you want to come over, it's this Sunday, the 19th of April. I will be there. I will have a booth. I will bring some stuff to sell as well. I'll be hanging out, hopefully making a video over there. And then after that, I will leave for the UK for 10 days because I'm going to be touring with one of my bands. I'm going to be meeting up with Johnny, with Mr. Dan Plastic, with Aaron Empire Toys. Hopefully I'll get to see Andy again. Andy's Toys and Models. I'm going to be hanging out with Lewis Toy Overdose over there. So hopefully I get to make a couple videos there before sound check. And then after that, we have Toy Zone.
Yeah.
And then another big one, Retro Heaven in Belgium.
Yes.
They're going for like a really big show this year. They're bringing Pixel Dan as well. They're bringing Vince from Keep It Mint in Mind all the way from Holland. Lewis from Toy Overdose is going to be there. Retro Ghetto is going to be there over at Retro Heaven in Deest on the 5th of June. So come on over, and we'll have some fun exclusives over there this year. There's going to be a panel. There's going to be some pretty rad stuff happening. And other than that, I will also be attending the Los Amigos Motu celebration thing in Heidelberg in Germany, which is a weekend later, I think on the 12th or the 13th of June. It's the Saturday, so I will be there. Which ones are you heading out to as well? You're going to Toy Zone and Retro Heaven, right?
Yeah, Toy Zone and Retro Heaven are my next ones. Toy Zone because it's really close by. It's kind of my home show, and Retro Heaven I'm super excited for. Not just hanging out with you and Dan again and Lewis and everything, but that show also has a really lovely charm to it. So I had a great time last year at Retro Heaven. Um, I am just gonna make a really good time out of it. I'm gonna head over a little bit earlier, spend some time with you guys, hunt with you guys. Maybe I will finally do the walk and talk thing with you, Ed, where I don't freak out and drool and forget to be a human. Maybe
Yeah.
actually do the walk and talk and hunt thing. That would be nice. And then I think there's a bit of a gap until like the shows later in the summer, like Toyplosion in Germany,
Yeah.
those kind of ones.
I do think you might need to come over for something in August.
Cryptic. Cryptic. Which
Yeah.
one's that?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you all
Ooh.
about it. I'm meeting up with the Toy Gang probably next year. This year I have too many tours with bands, so I kind of want to get out to in fall. I want to get out to the UK or Toy See Me or something in Spain, but I haven't really booked anything yet. I kind of have to keep it open. But the Toy Gang from the States, Narc and Greco, next year in early in the year, we will for surely do something in the US or in Europe. So that's something we might do. I think like April, there is like talks of another toy show somewhere around the middle of the US that we're talking about. So more info on that later, obviously.
Nice.
But yeah, so yeah, Toy Zone 31st of May. That is the big one because they did like 2 smaller editions.
Yeah.
Now this is going to be again the big one, the huge one.
I think it's like
Leo from Retro Heaven, from Toy Heaven, is coming over with all his Italian craziness and tons of toys. So yeah.
Oh man. Oh man, like just the fact that Leo is there, that's already an attraction with
I
that.
think so too.
Amazing. Yeah. They've got like 50 square meters at Toys on Amsterdam, Toys on Haarlem this year again. So yes, this is the big one. And if I have to judge it by last year's big Toy Zone, it's going to be great. I see a little bit of a challenge for me personally of walking around the Toy Zone and then within like a week going to Retro Heaven, which is also going to be great. And I can't spend my money twice, so I'm gonna have to be smart. But I'm also going to be a seller at Toy Zone. We're selling my wife's My Little Ponies and Barbies from her child.
Are we set up together?
I don't know. Do you have a table at Toy Zone?
I do. Could we do that?
Let's talk to the organization. We'll make it happen. We'll do
yeah.
a little. So there's always somebody to man the booth.
Indeed. No, I'll see. But yeah. Anyways, guys, we're gonna be over there. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're listening to us on Spotify, please leave us a rating of some sort or a comment. I'll open up the comments on this stuff. And obviously leave a comment here on YouTube as well on topics you want to see us discuss in one of the next ones. Be sure to subscribe to our channels and, bump up that Instagram follower number if you can. I'd be super psyched to hit 12,000 Instagram followers if y'all could just open up an account or 40 and just
open up a like farm and get that number up, baby.
Yeah. No, I mean it's all cool. But yeah, thanks everybody. I'm working on stuff from the US, and I don't know. I don't even know anymore. I've got so many lists going. What are you working on, and what? Can you finish the stream for me, please.
Yeah, let's wrap up. Like, you've got more videos lined up for the American ones. I'm running dry a little bit. I think I'm going to do some more Euro 90s strip episodes to go deep into those 90s Transformers, and then with Toy Zone and Retro Heaven coming up, we're gonna have some new toy hunting videos. So I think if you just follow everything that Ed does and you follow everything that I do, there'll be tons of good toy content to keep you entertained. And I think in a month from now, we'll do another one of these. So leave a suggestion for topics behind. Do you want us to go deeper and nerdier? Do you want us to talk about the old days? Do you want us to look into the future? Let us know.
All right. Happy hunting, guys. And we'll see you next time.
Boy.